was born in Santa Ana, El Salvador in the early 80s, and my country was going through a civil war during that time. So those are pretty much the most vivid memories I have. During that time, my parents had immigrated to the US. My dad immigrated when I was 8 months and my mom when I was about 18. So I stayed with my siblings and my grandparents. So they were raising us the best they could. So technically, I didn't meet my parents until I was 7 years old when we were reunited. So it's interesting to look back and connect all the dots from how that period affected me in so many different ways in who I am today. I moved to Charlotte in 2006, and in 2010 is when I started my master's at UNC Charlotte. I focus a lot looking into the immigrant population, and it just really opened up my eyes to, okay, what can I do as someone who speaks the language, who has a similar lived experience? I had no idea how or where, I thought I was gonna stay in the hospital doing research, but other things opened up. When I started the program in 2010, that's when we bought the first restaurant. And as we continue working with our employees, a lot of needs started coming up. And quickly I realized, I'm like, there's, what I'm learning in school about resources, I'm actually seeing it in my employees. But I think the biggest pivot for me was in 2017. And that's when we were seeing the crisis at the border. So I did notice our local community was coming together to talk about it. And then that's when I learned about, Charlotte is 50 out of 50 for upward economic mobility and the need for employment. And I figured, well, I'm an employer. And that's when I started connecting with different agencies, and it opened up doors to sit in different boards. And it seems like it organically happened, but it became tangible.
I've had the great honor of knowing Miriam for a long time. Our relationship grew when she joined the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Community Foundation and then the Leading on Opportunity Board. I just found in Miriam someone so special in the way in which she views the world, and this combination of small business owner, therapist, community activist, and she wraps all of those into this amazing ability to just see the world through so many angles that I don't typically find. So I was drawn to her, not only in a professional way, but as in the way in which I wanted to be friends with her and get to know her and see the world through her eyes.
When I was in UNC Charlotte, Dr. Lori Thomas, for me, she really influenced a lot of how I think now. And just thinking of all the different people that poured into us to get to where we are. So we didn't make it here alone. And my philosophy is like, there's always room to share what we have with people, whether they're employees, whether it's family members, people we meet in community, just sharing forward the resources we have.
This work can be really hard. Anyone who attempts to do social work or justice-related work, it can sometimes feel really lonely. And Miriam has the unique ability to see people for where they are and lean in and care. And so for me, what her support and community particularly has been for a leader in this space is inviting me to her home and asking me how I'm doing, providing a meal for me and my family such that we feel welcomed in this place. And I think that that is just as important as creating the programs or initiatives that lead to change. We also need to make sure we care about one another, and Miriam does a really amazing job of leading with that.
My hope is that by winning an award like this, really others look at this as an example of how to live their own lives. I'm super proud of Miriam. I'm proud of the university for honoring her with this. And there's no one who deserves it more.
She understands the global challenge or what we're facing as a community, but she has the ability to see and support individuals as they process that hard work for themselves. And that's what I would lift up, is her great power here.
Receiving the Outstanding Service Award has been a humbling experience for me. Thinking of all the people who poured into me that made me who I am today. And just people calling out different aspects of me that I didn't see. So it just feels like a reminder of, I need other people. We all need other people. And it's humbling to see how things come together.